Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 10 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we are trying out Eternatus. Now this is a Pokemon that has definitely increased in popularity since Series 8. We did play with a Power or Meteor Beam set Eternatus in Series 8. That's actually one of the more common sets for Eternatus right now. But Eternatus in general just wasn't super good in Series 8. Ironically, despite it being a Dynamax format. And somehow, with Dynamax no longer being around, Eternatus actually feels a little bit stronger because it doesn't get one-shot by a lot of max moves, for example. So the reason why, players like using Eternatus is, one, it has pretty unique typing. Two, it's one of the faster restricted Pokemon, outspeeding almost all of the kind of mid-tier speed ones. Obviously, Zacian and the Calyrex Shadow Rider are going to be too loud speed use, so you're going to want to cover for those. But otherwise, it can outspeed most things, and it's also very, very bulky relative to some restricted Pokemon, like Calyrex, for example. This team also features Togedemaru, which is really neat, right? Because this Eternatus, as you can see, runs Sludge Wave. So you can use that in conjunction specifically with Togedemaru to just freely Sludge Wave everything while not worrying about damaging your own partner. Togedemaru here, really valuable with Helping Hand support. That's going to allow Eternatus to pick up one-hit KOs that it otherwise wouldn't be able to. For example, Helping Hand Dynamax Cannon can one-shot Landorus-I. Helping Hand Flamethrower potentially can one-shot Zacian. So that's really valuable in giving you the extra push and damage that you need. Nuzzle is classic, Fake Out is classic, and then you've got the Steel Roller here, which is really nice because it can actually deal significant amounts of damage, which is really sweet. Rillaboom and Urshifu on this team are relatively standard. It's once again a really bulky Urshifu. That's really been the trend in Series 10, continues to be the case on this team. And then finally, we've got Grassy, Seed, Quiver Dance, Rage Powder, Volcarona. So you can use Volcarona as redirection, but also offensively. Grassy Seed with the Grassy Terrain from Rillaboom, specifically really valuable into Zacian teams. And then finally, Grimmsnarl. This Grimmsnarl set's really interesting. It's not your classic Fake Out, Dual Screens, Spirit Break set, right? It's actually got none of those attacks. Lash Out, Superpower, T-Wave, and Protect. Lash Out's really valuable just for general damage output, especially because a lot of players like to use Electro Web or Snarl to deal with Eternatus, and so that can give you an increase in damage output for Grimmsnarl that turn specifically. Superpower specifically really nice into things like Incineroar and Stack Attacka. T-Wave is nice just for priority speed control. You've obviously got Togedemaru with that Nuzzle, but Togedemaru isn't exactly the fastest Pokemon in the format. Still gets outsped by things that you want to typically get that paralysis on, right? Things like Calyrex or Zacian, for example. So that's where Grimmsnarl can come in and give you that priority boost that you wouldn't otherwise have. Protect is really nice because I feel like so few players expect Protect from Grimmsnarl. Like, if I were to play against Grimmsnarl, I'm always basically expecting it not to have Protect. And so this is like kind of a unique set that can really catch opponents off guard. So yeah, this team was built by a player called Midden VGC, so thank you very much to them for the team. Rental and a paste are in the description below, courtesy of them. So yeah, let's get started. First matchup of the day, and this is a really cool team. Wow. Pincurchin, Alolan, Raichu, Diggersby, Lapras, Tornadus, and Reshiram. Okay. So they obviously have Tailwind. Pincurchin plus the Raichu is really interesting. I think Rillaboom's really good. Togedemaru I think could be really good, right? Because we can just Fake Out with it. Now I have to worry a little bit about Diggersby with the Eternatus. Seeing Lapras is really interesting because immediately I'm thinking, oh, it's going to Gigantamax, but obviously we don't play in a max format. So, yeah, that's just pretty intriguing. Grimmsnarl is also pretty interesting here because we do have a T-Wave on it, so priority Thunder Wave is pretty nice. Superpower is honestly really nice into Diggersby here as well. I think I'm down to just lead Togedemaru plus Eternatus, Rillaboom in the back. And then the thing is, like, Grimmsnarl with Prankster, T-Wave is valuable just because Tornadus is, probably going to want to set up Tailwind in this game. But then Urshifu is just good damage output in this matchup, honestly. The thing is, though, I think, like, Grimmsnarl actually offers good damage here as well because it's running Superpower specifically. So I actually don't mind bringing it here. So, yeah. Let's get into today's episode. Thanks so much as always for watching, and if you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, I want to know what your favorite song or artist is at the moment. For me, I've been listening to The Weeknd's new single a lot, but been listening to a lot of, I feel like there's just been a lot of good music that I've personally liked in the last year. Vince Staples' new album, he made a single for Pokemon 25, which I was not expecting, but that was really cool. Snow Allegra's new album is really solid as well. I've really liked the new Swedish House Mafia single as well, so yeah. It's going to be Raichu plus Diggersby. Okay, so I could see them going like Fake Out into Togedemaru and then just ground type attack. I think it's pretty safe to pivot Togedemaru out in a Grimmsnarl turn 1, or sorry, Rillaboom, and then just protect turn 1. Because then I just put on pressure the second turn with my Rillaboom against both of these Pokemon. Now, what they could do potentially in the next turn is, I guess, switch out into Pincurchin, but that's fine. Given that we see these two Pokemon already, there should be a Reshiram in the back, so then the big question is what is the fourth one of my opponent's in? Pincurchin makes some sense for terrain control in this matchup. With this stuff, I could also just see like Discharge from Raichu coming out early on, but either way, I feel like Rillaboom is a pretty good switch in for us here. So it's relatively safe to make turn 1. So we're going to bring it out right now. This also conserves the Focus Sash on the Togedemaru. It's Focus Sash Lightning Rod, not Sturdy. Okay. So we're just going to go for the safe protect. What are they going to opt for? Fake out. Okay, they're willing to just fake out into Eternatus. That's fine. Foul play. Okay, so they're probably reading a switch there then. That's really interesting. Okay. Well, what do I want to do here? First question I have is, does Diggersby have protect? I feel like the safest play here really is to just fake out the Diggersby. I don't think Raichu is really that scary in this position. So I'm down to fake out Diggersby and Dynamax Cannon it, I think. Just because we have the AV on Rillaboom. Okay, they switch Raichu out. Pincurchin, maybe? Yes. My question here is whether or not Diggersby opts for a protect. Protect would be a great play on their end, but if they don't protect, we're in really good shape. Let's see. Nice, no protect. All right. So I think Dynamax Cannon here should just pick up the KO. Beautiful. Like, my opponent's team is relatively frail, to be honest. Such a sick animation. Great. So yeah, that's what I was hoping to bait them into thinking I would want to go for Grassy Glide, but Fake Out's always just a safer play there, right? Like, the main thing I'd have to be worried about is a potential Psychic type attack from the Alolan Raichu, but, you know, it's Eternatus. It's pretty bulky. I can take an attack from it anyway. So they're going to bring Raichu back out, which makes a lot of sense, but this is where Togedemaru now is perfect to bring in, right? I can just pivot out into Togedemaru and then protect the Eternatus. And then we can just Fake Out Sludge Wave, honestly. The main thing we want to be careful about is Eternatus really is by far our best offensive option into the Reshiram that my opponent's going to have in the back, right? I could theoretically lose the game even if I pick up 3 knockouts in trading Eternatus for it, because the remainder of my Pokemon just really don't do very well into Reshiram. That's like the slight downside in not bringing that Urshifu, but I wanted to bring Grimmsnarl to cover for the potential Tornadus mode that they had. So they're just going to Rising Voltage. Beautiful. Togedemaru. Yeah, it's not like Lightning Rod's even super important for us here, but it's nice in just protecting. And it's double Rising Voltage. Beautiful. Sweet. Okay. Well, yeah, we're just in amazing shape right now, honestly. Yeah, I'm really surprised they actually brought Raichu and Pincurchin into a Togedemaru, but I'll gladly take it. Like, here, I'm pretty content to just Fake Out into the Raichu and Sludge Wave here, I think. So we get to use Sludge Wave, which is really neat. That's not a very common move on the Eternatus. They actually end up just forfeiting, so okay. That's going to be a win for us. Not a very exciting first game, but we'll take it. Generally, though, their damage into Eternatus needed to come from Reshiram and Diggersby, so yeah, I mean, after that turn, it was going to be really difficult for them to win the game, especially if they didn't have, like, Protects. But even if you do have Protects there, like, Eternatus was just such an amazing position. And the upside is that we knew we were going to, unless you're a Twist Scarf Reshiram, like most Reshirams are Assault Vest, even a single, like, Helping Hand Dynamax Cannon really completely dunks on it. So, yeah, I think if we play that out, we definitely had a very, very, you know, strong position. The main question I have to ask is whether or not it was worth it to bring the Grimmsnarl over Urshifu, because, like I said, it did create kind of an awkward endgame where maybe if we actually lost Eternatus, like, I'm not sure Togedemaru, Rillaboom, and Grimmsnarl could have been able to handle the Reshiram, but the Grimmsnarl is a little bit more offensive. The Rillaboom does have, I believe... it doesn't have high horsepower, but it has knockoff, yeah. And then we can cycle Fake Out, so if you're AV, then you can't protect in front of us. So maybe we're fine anyway, but okay. Either way, yeah, Togedemaru putting on a lot of work there. I mean, it is good fortune that our very first matchup with this team, and we run into a Pincurchin Raichu team. So I think if I were to play that game from my opponent's perspective, I'd probably prioritize setting up Tailwind with Tornadus. That's why I wanted to bring so much anti-Tailwind, right? In the Togedemaru, which can paralyze, as well as the Grimmsnarl, which can paralyze. Zacian here, but pretty cool support. There's Zacian, Ditto, Rillaboom, Mamoswine, Whimsicott, and the Urshifu. So you would think it's going to be Water Urshifu here. I mean, Water Urshifu is just by far the most common one, so it's not even, like, super surprising. We can, like, Helping Hand plus Flamethrower, Togedemaru, Eternatus setup will just KO the Zacian. But so many Zacians carry Substitute, right? Grimmsnarl has T-Wave here, so I could go Grim plus Eternatus, but then I'm not necessarily KOing. All of our Pokemon are pretty good here. I think we probably don't bring Urshifu. I haven't been able to really use Volcarona in our time, just having Volcarona on teams, but I think this is a pretty good matchup for it. I don't know. I don't feel like I'll be Sludge Waving that frequent. It's still not bad, though. I'm just looking like at Togedemaru. Like, I do have Nuzzle, Helping Hand, but I kind of like Grim plus Eternatus a little bit more here because of that priority T-Wave. And the Babiri. Actually, you know what? I am going to go Togedemaru here, I think. Togedemaru, Eternatus, Volcarona plus Rillaboom. I think Volcarona can be incredibly strong in the late game if we're able to eliminate the Urshifu. Now, you know, they'll probably conserve the Urshifu, but Urshifu is not very good into our Rillaboom or Eternatus or Togedemaru. It's part of the reason why I wanted to bring Togedemaru in the end. So we'll see. Togedemaru, of course, can paralyze, and it has the Focus Sash. So both of those are good for us. And they're going to go with Mamoswine and the Rillaboom. Okay. Mamoswine plus Rillaboom. Oh, this is actually so interesting because I have Steel Roller. So, like, turn 1, I'm willing to fake out Mamoswine, and then turn 2, Steel Roller might just one-shot with Grassy Terrain being up. That would be amazing. I would think we trade fake outs turn 1, but here I think I'm down to just Sludge Wave and go for fake out onto Mamoswine. Sludge Wave also just covers for any potential switch-ins. I guess other than Zacian, Zacian will be immune to it, but be surprised if they switch out into Zacian turn 1. Because you do risk Flamethrower on either of these Pokemon, and like, would you really want to switch Zacian into a Flamethrower? Probably not. I guess the only thing is if Fake Out doesn't, like, Fake Out does a little bit of damage, right? But then Grassy Terrain heals back up. And if it is going to be Focus Sash on Mamoswine, well, Eternatus is pretty speedy anyway. Okay, they just protect Mamo, that's fine. I think this next turn then, Rillaboom U-turn here would be a really good play. Oh, they might even be going for high horsepower. That would be sick. Okay, either way, we get a Life Orb Sludge Wave off. That's nice, but if it's AV Rillaboom, which it should be, we'll survive. Barely, though, actually. It is U-turn. Okay. You do break my Focus Sash now on Togedemaru. But the thing is, if you bring in Eternatus, I'm down to just Helping Hand Flamethrower you. Sorry, not Eternatus, Zacian. It's just Steel Roller is so nice right now. Surely Zacian comes out, right? Yeah. Oh, no, it's Ditto. Huh. Alright, that's pretty interesting. What I don't like is them potentially going for Steel Roller so that I can't go for it. That'd actually be a really funky play. The play I want to make right now is to protect my Eternatus. Well, actually, they can't Nuzzle me, right? They can't Nuzzle me. This is really good, actually, already, because they didn't bring their Zacian. Sorry, they didn't bring Urshifu, which means Volcarona has an easier time in this matchup. The play I'm leaning towards making is just to protect here. But part of me is honestly, I think, willing to just Flamethrower. Especially with Volcarona here in the back. I think I'm down to just Flamethrower into the Ditto. And just Steel Roller into the Mamoswine. They might be Choice Scarf, obviously. Okay, they just actually up for Fake Out. That's fine. Although, then I could have protected, but then Fake Out could have gone into... Like, I don't think we lose Eternatus to a high horsepower here, which is why I'm willing to make this play, assuming they are... Oh, they're not even sashed! Oh my goodness, let's go! Togedemaru gets a one-hit KO onto Mamoswine. So that's really interesting, because like on Mamoswine, I would typically think your Focus Sash or Life Orb. Sash being on their Whimsicott makes a lot of sense on this team, but that puts us in a really, really good spot, honestly, so I'm very content about that. Because, like, yeah, you can see they can't even really freely bring out Eternatus right now, which puts them in a really awkward position. Now, they get Rillaboom out, so you can click Fake Out, obviously. Like, I'm willing to just go for Flamethrower here until a Ditto. Flamethrower and Steel Roller seems pretty fine here to me. Because our Volcarona in the back, like, if you're my opponent right now, you're probably thinking, okay, I need to switch this Ditto out. Switching, yeah, it'd actually be really strong to switch Ditto out here and then fake out into this. So actually, I don't really care about Rillaboom being out right now. I want to cover for the switch out option, so I'm willing to Flamethrower and Nuzzle here into the... Because if we paralyze Zacian, we're in amazing shape. And if I were my opponent, I would switch out right now, try to lose the Rillaboom, so then the Ditto can copy the Eternatus. Nice. So this play basically was like I either get damage with Flamethrower and I KO or I cover for the Zacian switch in, right? Maybe they fake out the Togedemaru here, but let's see, fake out. Perfect. Perfect. Like, basically, this turn was like, is there a point in getting the KO onto Rillaboom? And the answer is no, right? Like, Rillaboom isn't that scary against either of these Pokemon. I guess if it has high horsepower, like maybe it threatens Togedemaru, but like, that play in itself puts us in such a good position, right? Okay, sweet. So here, if you're my opponent, you can obviously switch Rillaboom out. We've got this Volcarona to play towards in this late game as well. One other thing to consider is switching Eternatus out just so that they can't copy me. So that would be, so that they can't copy Eternatus specifically. So that would be switching Eternatus probably out into Rillaboom here. And then going for a Steel Roller onto Zacian. I think I like that. Because if I were my opponent here, like, I mean, you could protect Zacian, that's fine. I'm willing to, even if I just get a little bit of damage on it, that's so important for Volcarona for this end game, right? Perfect, exactly. So here I could have, like, read into the switch, but the thing is, me making this play covers for every single option. It covers for Rillaboom staying in and U-turning, it covers for them hard switching, and it covers for Rillaboom just attacking, right? And they don't protect, so we even get Steel Roller off perfect. And, well, I guess, like, Grassy terrain would be pretty helpful to have. Because as of right now, my Volcarona now won't have the Grassy Seed. So it might have been better to actually switch in Volk there. But I don't want them Quiver Dancing on me. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. They're just going to Behemoth Blade. That's okay. Into the Rilla slot. It's a lot of damage. It's pretty scary. But the thing is, now we have set ourselves up for an Eternatus endgame, right? I'm down to switch out into Volcarona right now. And just Nuzzle into Ditto. Because at this point, Eternatus can freely knock things out. Yeah, I think switching in Volcarona there would have been better because I would have gotten the Grassy Seed and I obviously take significantly less damage. I just wanted to make sure the Ditto, if it copied anything, would be copying my my Rillaboom. But I'm honestly really proud about how I played this so far. So, yeah. That turn might have been perfect, but I don't know. Like, do I need to be scared about Volcarona Quiver Dance comeback potential? I don't really think so, to be honest. They fake out into Volk. Perfect. Okay, now we paralyze both of these things. If you KO the... Togedemaru has been amazing today. Like, I'm so impressed by it. Sacred Sword, perfect. Thank you for your service, Togedemaru. Honestly, you are so good. Okay. So this is perfect because now I get to cycle my Rillaboom back in. That sets up the Grassy terrain. I've paralyzed both your Ditto and your Zacian. Pretty free to just fake out Heat Wave here, I think. Like, there's an argument to make, like, do I want to Quiver Dance? But I think the answer is no, because I don't want their Ditto coming out and back in and then copying. Well, the main reason I don't want to Quiver Dance here is because... yeah, I think I'm willing to just Fiery Dance here. And I'm willing to... Okay, well, actually, let's be a little bit careful here. Quiver Dancing is fine, right? Because you're paralyzed with this thing. Okay, I'm honestly down to Fiery Dance here and fake out. Because I can see them switching Rillaboom out into their... Okay, they don't switch out. That's fine. They protect Zacian, that's fine. Because the thing is, now I get a free switch in if you knock out my Rillaboom, and suddenly I have two Pokemon that can just pick up 2 KOs, right? Which is really good for us. Okay, so we'll go for Fiery Dance here. That's a one-hit KO? Oh, they're not Assault Vest, so yeah, I mean, obvious. I'm too used to Rillabooms being AB. Perfect. Yeah, so I think that was a really safe play. It was even better than I had anticipated because I was nervous about Rillaboom surviving. But the thing is, even if Rillaboom survives there and you knock out my Rillaboom, well, I just get the free switch into Eternatus. But shout out to Togedemaru, man. Being able to one-shot that Mamoswine was such a big deal because their damage output into Volcarona when they don't bring Urshifu is really lacking. Like, they really, really struggle in terms of damage, so, yeah. Here I'm going to just Fiery Dance and U-turn out. Very safe to make. Yeah, Zacian is just completely walled by this Grassy Seed Volcarona, so couldn't have been a better demonstration of how good this set specifically can be. So that was an awesome game. All right, not bad. 2 quick games to get today's episode started, so let's just look for another one. I think, yeah, the fact, as soon as we knew that they didn't have Urshifu, that made it a lot easier for us to get away with playing with Volcarona. So the main thing I wanted to avoid there, the thing I'm actually surprised about was when they brought the Ditto out to not copy Eternatus, but Eternatus partner, and then brought the low health Rillaboom back out. Also, the turn when they went for Fake Out onto Eternatus, like, instead of my Togedemaru, at that point they should have seen that I had Steel Roller, right? So I was really surprised they went for Fake Out and not respect Togedemaru there. But I'm guessing what they were maybe reading into is just hard reading into me making a switch. But the way I saw that turn was, okay, well, I either knock out your Mamoswine or bring you down to Sash. I was expecting to be Sashed. So I either bring your Mamoswine down to Focus Sash or I get the KO onto your Ditto. And both are decent trade-offs for me. But that turn worked out even better than I had anticipated. So yeah, super, super awesome. Third game of the day, and this is as classic Zacian as it gets. Sometimes you'll see like Tapu Fini over Whimsicott, but that's basically, yeah, like the kind of Zacian team. So Togedemaru is nice because it completely invalidates the Regieleki. Helping Hand plus Dynamax Cannon has a very good shot of just one-shotting Landorus-I, especially if they have no bulk. I probably want to just bring the same 4 as the last game. Once again, the main awkward thing here is like Grimmsnarl with that Prankster T-Wave is pretty nice. But its damage is really subpar here. And Togedemaru was like the MVP of that last one, honestly. So I think I'm going to just go Togedemaru plus Eternatus with Rillaboom plus Volcarona in the back. Now the one thing I'm a little bit scared about is maybe Fake Out plus Landorus-I. Because then you could... We could trade Fake Outs turn 1. Well, actually, if we trade Fake Outs, I can just Helping Hand. It's probably Whimsicott plus Landorus-I, right? Because then I can't necessarily just go Helping Hand Dynamax Cannon to one-shot your Lando. So let's see. That is the lead they go with. Okay. It's very safe for my opponent right now to double protect turn 1. So quite frankly, that is the play I'd go for if I were in their shoes. So there's two lines of action here, right? If I don't think they're actually going to protect, I can just stay in with both, but the play I'm leaning towards just goes Fake Out into Landorus, cover for the option of it attacking, and then just switch out into Rillaboom here. Because then I can just go Helping Hand Fake Out, Helping Hand Grassy Glide. So I'm down to make this play right now. Yeah. Oh. Into Zacian. Okay, that's interesting. I don't mind that too much because it means you don't get Tailwind up. If my opponent's making a play like that, I want to say it indicates they don't have Protect on Whimsicott. Although that was a really risky switch. Oh, no, well, kind of. That means they're probably just Earth Powering here with Lando, right? Because I was going to say, if I just went Fake Out Flamethrower there, they're in a lot of trouble on the Zacian slot. It doesn't KO, but it does so much. Yeah, and they didn't Protect with Lando. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Honestly, not bad damage from Fake Outs. We take those. Okay, if you're in my opponent's position right now, like, I really want to Fake Out and Nuzzle into the Zacian, but you could so easily protect Zacian here and then attack with Lando or switch Lando out. The alternative is to just go for, like, Helping Hand plus Grassy Glide onto Landorus, but I don't know if that KOs. So yeah, I've got Volcarona back, so honestly the priority should be to just eliminate Landorus. We also have Steel Roller. That does get rid of my terrain, though, but it covers for a switch in really well as well. Okay, so I'm down to Steel Roller and Glide into Lando here. Okay, so they don't protect, they don't switch, but that should be a KO onto the Landorus. Yep, and Zacian subs. Zacian subbing here is fine because, like, you... Oh, it's faster than Tog. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. That's fine. I don't know if Helping Hand plus Glide was going to pick up the KO, but I guess, yeah, because Lando is faster than Togedemaru. For some reason, I thought Togedemaru was going to outspeed Landorus-I there, but I think that was me thinking mixing it up with Lando-T's base speed. Okay. It's not a terrible trade-off. I would have honestly preferred to just paralyze the Zacian there, but the thing is, even if we paralyze it, Whimsicott can just Tailwind, and it's still outspeeding me anyway under Tailwind, so it's not like that important. Problem is, I can't break the sub anytime soon right now, which makes things a little bit awkward for us. Bring Whimsicott back out. We're in a very weird spot right now where I need to get Grassy Seed active, but I don't have an easy way to do that. Because I don't want to switch in Volcarona, it just takes too much damage, but then it's like the alternative is switching in Eternatus. That might honestly have to be the play right now. Like, I'll Nuzzle onto the Whimsicott slot, switch Rillaboom out into Eternatus, because Eternatus is actually not the most important Pokemon for us in this matchup right now, it's Volcarona. I was pretty close to whether or not Helping Hand plus Glide would have picked up the KO. That may have just been the better play. This might just knock us out. This is going to be ugly. I mean, I guess I can switch in Volcarona there, but I feel like then I'm just throwing away my biggest win condition. So my positioning here wasn't amazing. Yeah, that picks up the one-hit KO. Zacian's so strong. Well done. Okay. Paralyze your Whimsicott now. It's all about sweeping with Volcarona in this endgame, right? Eliminating Landorus the way I did was specifically to set up Volcarona, but the problem is their last one is probably going to be the Urshifu, which obviously is going to beat the Volcarona. So that I have to play assuming that's the case right now, I think. So the plan I'm leaning towards making here is I bring out the Rillaboom. That sets up the Grassy terrain. I would draw Rillaboom for Volcarona to get the Grassy Seed activated. And then I Steel Roller to break the substitute on Zacian's end. But this is why like paralyzing it earlier may have been helpful. It would have denied the substitute as well. And then I could have just targeted it with damage potentially, but nah. So yeah, I'm going to Steel Roller Zacian here and then just switch Rillaboom out into Volcarona. I guess I could actually just Steel Roller Whimsicott for a KO right now, but I think Whimsicott doesn't actually pressure me, so I'd rather have it out on the field. Because it also is chances of paralysis, rendering it completely useless for a turn. That's not good. That is not good. They've got Encore. Okay. That puts us in a really bad spot, I think. Man. Oh, but we get the burn on Zacian. That's the upside of Volcarona just in general. That's huge. That's a really, really big deal. Okay. Very, very lucky burn there. It means I can't paralyze it, obviously, though. So I have to be a little bit careful about that. Whimsicott is not in sash range, so I can KO it here. You would think if you're my opponent now, you click Tailwind with Whimsicott, right? I mean, getting that burn changes everything, honestly. We got very lucky that turn, but I still don't even love my position. If I were my opponent, I would Tailwind with Whimsicott and then maybe protect Zacian. I don't want to give them a free switch in though, so I don't want to knock out the Whimsicott right now. I'm going for Nuzzle Quiver Dance, but I don't know if... Oh, no, that's absolutely not the play. Like, they've revealed Sub. Or, sorry, they've revealed Encore. Yeah, I don't know why I Quiver Dance there. Should have definitely been Fiery Dance. They also did not Tailwind with Whimsicott. Wow. Huh. I wonder if Nuzzle breaks Sub here. There's no way, right? Nah. I guess what's interesting, though, is if you knock out Togedemaru here, now I get the free switch into Rillaboom, so I can just Fake Out plus Fiery Dance, but you, if you're my opponent, just go for a Helping Hand. The Encore changed everything, yeah. You just go for a Helping Hand plus Behemoth Blade onto the Rillaboom slot. It also does, however, come down to what my opponent's last Pokemon is, right? If it's something like the, if it is something like not Urshifu, say, the Regieleki, for example, then Volcarona can still play this endgame. Yeah, what would have been better that last turn? I could have doubled up to KO Whimsicott, but then they probably get a free switch into Urshifu. I needed to get the paralysis on the Zacian, honestly. Didn't realize how important that would be. The sub changed everything as well. Didn't utilize Eternatus super well, plus my opponent outled me, so it's just kind of a combo of everything. Oh, wait, we can use Glide to break sub? Like, would they Encore here? If I'm my opponent, I'm always going for a Helping Hand and targeting Rillaboom, so I'm going to Glide plus Fiery Dance here. It's pretty risky, but I'm already playing from behind in this game. They didn't Helping Hand, though. Oh, that's frustrating. But they didn't Tailwind. What's Whimsicott going for? Yeah, that was probably an Encore, to be honest. But we're still slower than Zacian. Right, this Volcarona has no speed investment, but now you probably don't KO the Rillaboom, right? Like, you do still. Wow. That was a crit. Okay, I mean, I can't complain about that. We got our fair amount of luck in this game. Would have been interesting, though, right? If you don't crit there and Urshifu is my opponent's last one, we actually have a very good shot at winning. Yeah, I can see why they didn't go for Helping Hand plus Behemoth Blade. Although, if I go for Fake Out Fiery Dance there, the thing is they don't know that we're not max speed. We don't have any speed investment, right? So, yeah. Oh, their last one is Incineroar. I still don't think we can do it, though. Because Flare Blitz just does entirely too much damage to us. And I can't protect in front of Whimsicott. It was a misplay to even go for that first Quiver Dance, honestly. So I think I have to just eat up the Fake Out plus the Flare Blitz here, unfortunately. Yeah, I just don't do enough damage to Incineroar, so they should win. I needed their last one to be Regieleki. Well played, well played. They found a really good lead. I guess it's a little frustrating. Wait. Oh, they didn't click Fake Out with Incineroar. That's pretty interesting. They're sashed. That was probably a Helping Hand. You just go for Helping Hand Flare Blitz. Okay, how much does this do with the defense boost? Yeah, with Helping Hand, it should be enough. Yeah, had we not gotten paralyzed, we would have knocked out Zacian or crit, then Glide would have just KO'd Whimsicott. But I think I'd still honestly favor my opponent's position. The thing is, Rillaboom then could have maybe gotten a knockoff onto Incineroar. I brought the right Pokemon in this matchup, it feels like. Oh, not even necessarily. They made a really good call bringing in Incin as their last one. That's not what I would have guessed. I would have guessed Urshifu. Wait, they don't even have Urshifu. I'm so conditioned into thinking all the Zacian teams have Urshifu. That's funny. I need it. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're at +3 special attack. They're gonna Helping Hand Flare Blitz. Maybe we can get to +4. Even when it does, even if it's at +4. Helping Hand Flare Blitz also probably just KOs us here. Yeah, they go for it here. Okay. Honestly, the play may have been to just target Incineroar and hope for a critical hit. I was thinking, okay, we survive Flare Blitz, you take Recoil, because I don't even know if a +3 Fiery Dance crit knocks out Incin from that range. But I'm hoping, like, okay, now we survive, you take enough Recoil where then maybe I can KO you. Alright, Volk does survive. But there's no way a +3 Fiery Dance is KOing. Yeah. Nicely done to bring Incin as their last one, and I think they recognize that their Volcarona answers are pretty subpar outside of Lando. So it was like, okay, lead Lando to put on pressure against Volcarona early, and then have Incineroar in the late game to put on pressure against Volcarona. So I think our best bet is a Fiery Dance crit, but I don't even think that's enough to knock out the Incineroar, unfortunately. The main thing here is I basically sacrificed Zacian, and for what, right? Yeah. If we got a special attack boost and a crit, it would have been enough to knock out the Incin, so I do think that was the correct endgame to play towards. But yeah. It was really the Encore that threw me off, but I don't know if that really changed much. Well, no, if Encore didn't go off, if they didn't have Encore there, we would have knocked out Zacian's substitute, and then that becomes a completely different game. But I guess the main point here is I didn't actually bring good answers into my opponent's Pokemon. Urshifu would have been very good into like the 4 that they brought specifically, but it didn't feel amazing to me in Team Preview, obviously, with some of their other options. So They just kind of called me out really hard on the lead, which is well done. A little frustrating because if I just went Helping Hand Dynamax Cannon turn 1 and knocked out Landorus-I, this is probably a completely different game. But the main thing is that that substitute on Zacian is a really big threat. Whimsicott set was nice as well. Moonblast, Helping Hand, Encore. And then surely Tailwind, right? Which explains why they switched out turn 1. Also, yeah, like if I just went Fake Out Flamethrower turn 1, we'd have done so much damage on a Zacian, but then probably not enough for a KO. But then maybe they can't substitute from there. So, yeah. Either way, that was a pretty fast one. I obviously messed up thinking they had Urshifu. I'm just so conditioned into thinking those teams always have Urshifu. So, and I think I got it mixed up with that second game, so that was pretty funny. But let's look for another one. Next game here, and we got classic Calyrex Shadow Rider. Triple Fake Out with Rillaboom, Incineroar, and the Mienshao. Calyrex, Ditto, and the Nihilego. Calyrex. Now, I do really like Priority T-Wave here with Grimmsnarl, I think. It's just the lead that I'm wondering about. Also, like, there's no Psychic Terrain user on my opponent's team, so I'm wondering if there's Expanding Force on the Calyrex. Probably not. And often when I don't see a Psychic Terrain user, sometimes I question the item on Calyrex and whether or not it might be something like a Choice Scarf, for example. That'd be really interesting. I mean, Togedemaru is not bad here. Steel Roller does get a chunk of damage off, but like I want Grimm, I think Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Eternatus. So I'm leaning towards Grimm plus Urshifu lead, Rillaboom plus Eternatus in the back. And the logic here is, well, I'm pretty bulky with the Urshifu. I think Grimmsnarl needs to come out here also because it has Lash Out, so that's actually good damage into the Shadow Rider specifically. And Togedemaru, it's just like I can't necessarily nuzzle the Calyrex before it attacks, right? Because Calyrex is just faster. So they're gonna go Mienshao Calyrex, okay. So turn 1, I can just T-Wave Surging Strikes, I think. But if you're my opponent, you can just Fake Out. Now, honestly, the play I want to make is Detect turn 1 to scout out for Psychic type attack. Actually, we don't even have Fake Out on Grimm, right? But I honestly just like double... I mean, the only downside here is if you sub. I actually feel like sub is pretty likely, but even if that comes out, then I can Aqua Jet plus T-Wave the subsequent turn, I think. Okay, so they went for Fake Out onto, yeah, Grimm. It is sub. If I went for Surging Strikes there, we're in like such a game-winning position, but that's fine. Nicely done. I do have Lash Out though, so I'm down to actually just Aqua Jet here, break the sub, and Lash Out to try to KO Calyrex. Because if we eliminate Calyrex, we're still not in bad shape at all. Turn 1 was just a little frustrating because I could have clicked Surging Strikes, but I wanted to respect the Psychic type attack from Calyrex. Okay. They're just going to launch Astral Barrage. Nice. Both of them take it pretty well there. And they are just classic Life Orb. Okay, that's fine with me. CC into Urshifu. Perfect. We should knock out the Calyrex now. So it's not a terrible trade-off at the end of the day, right? Because it's like I have Rillaboom still in the back. The main thing to watch out for right now is Ditto, but if Ditto were to come out, it has to obviously copy the Grimmsnarl slot, which isn't that scary. I think I'd probably bring in Rillaboom here, and the reason I want to bring in Rillaboom is because I don't want the Eternatus to get paralyzed. If I bring in Eternatus and Ditto comes out from their end, then obviously they can copy me, and that's not good. Glide will bring... Okay, they bring Nihilego out. It is a strong bring here for my opponent, but I can paralyze it. I feel like Ditto should be my opponent's last one. Okay, let's think this turn through. I can't Fake Out me. I mean, I can Fake Out for damage, but I can't. Let's assume Ditto's their last one. I guess it could be Incineroar. I'd be happy seeing Incineroar. We still have a restricted Pokemon, and I've got Thunder Wave, which is probably the most important part of the equation right now. Superpower. I don't think CC should knock out either. Definitely won't knock out Rillaboom. I think I like Superpower into Mienshao here and Fake Out into Nihilego, because then what I can do is Glide Mienshao and then T-Wave Nihilego the subsequent turn. Nihilego protects, it's fine. Fake Out was just to make sure it doesn't get damage off this turn. Unless Mienshao goes for, say... Okay, just close combat again. It's a lot of damage on a Rillaboom, though. I don't love that. Okay. Also, Lash Out may have been better there, just so that I don't eat up a drop, because we know they're already at -1 defense and would get to -2 with another close combat. Okay, so now I can Thunder Wave. Nihilego. Yeah, Nihilego's actually very good into us in this endgame too, which I don't love. Because Eternatus can't hit it for that much, but we can T-Wave here and then go for Glide to just knock out the Mienshao. My dream scenario here would be let they... was it worth it to Glide into Nihilego? It's not enough for a KO, but it might have been. Dream scenario is a paralysis here, actually. If we get a paralysis, my opponent's in a really tough spot. And we get it. Okay. Very lucky for us there, but that's the upside of Prankster T-Wave, as I have unfortunately been on the receiving end of before. I feel like with that, I really need to win the game now then. Like, we got so lucky that turn. Gotta maximize it. Yeah, there's Ditto. Okay. So, the Ditto is out now. You have Fake Out Pressure. You can obviously click Grassy Glide. Down to T-Wave Ditto here. Do we outspeed now Ego? Because I can knock off to get rid of a Power Herb. We should. Okay, so T-Wave and... The alternatives are just U-turning here, though. Okay, I'm actually down to U-turn. They might just click Fake... Oh, they just forfeit. That was very far from over, to be honest. I think they still very much could have won, but yeah. Like, we got very lucky with the paralysis there, obviously. The endgame would have been pretty interesting, though, right? Because it's like... If I would assume they'd get the knockout onto Rillaboom because they want to force the Eternatus to switch into that slot. So then you bring out your Ditto, and then I'd probably just T-Wave and then Dynamax Cannon into the Ditto for a KO. So in that endgame, it's a question of whether or not Nihilego can basically get enough attacks off through paralysis. And I assume their power plus, say, the power gem there. But I do think that was probably a paralysis that won us the game. And if we don't get it, it's actually a very winning position for them. They needed to make the right target selection there, I would think. You'd probably get a KO on either Pokemon and win the game from there, though. So, yeah, I don't love how I played that game. In turn 1, they just outplayed me with that substitute, right? If I had just gone for Surging Strikes, feels like we kind of just win from there. One thing that I didn't really consider was how important our Urshifu was in dealing specifically with the Nihilego. And so, yeah, like the main reason I didn't, just attack Tron with Urshifu is because I was nervous about a Psychic type attack going into that slot specifically. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like a Psyshocker, Expanding Force going into Urshifu. But maybe we can survive actually with their bulk, so I don't know if that's a gamble that's worth taking. But either way, yeah. Yeah, fun to bring out all the different Pokemon in this one, though. And I think in Game 3 in that loss, I just feel like my execution was not amazing. I ran into the worst case scenario lead, and I could have tried. I don't know. Like I don't think I would have changed how I played that early game. Helping Hand into Rillaboom would have helped out, but how I was debating about the Fake Out Nuzzle play, like that probably could have changed a lot for us. Although they'd probably still get Tailwind up, and then Eternatus is still so scary. Or sorry, not Eternatus, Zacian. But the main thing in Game 3 is that I just maybe I guess in that position I could just give up Rillaboom, but then what, right? Like it was the combination of them having Helping Hand and Encore that made it so difficult, and then with the Pokemon I brought specifically, I really lacked the ability to just easily knock out Substitute, which was kind of on me. So yeah. Either way, though, this is a really, really fun team. I had a blast with all of these games. So yeah, thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show support by leaving a like. Check out the details in the description below, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.